Hey everybody, thanks for tuning in to All Things Division III Soccer with Simple Coach and Jackie. I am Simple Coach, and Jackie is asleep. She had a rough night last night, so just letting her catch some Z's. Hopefully she'll be up in a little bit. Having a rough go of it these days, so every day's a blessing with her. So today, just really excited to go through the my top 25 women's teams in the country. Lot of interesting games that I've been watching. So I'm going to go through it. But just as a reminder, how teams make it on the top 25. This is all me. So I have some sort of simple rules, I think, that just as a reminder. So the biggest one is I have to watch the team if it's going to qualify for a top 25. I don't think it's right to just look at a record in the teams they play. I think it's important to see how teams play. So the second rule, if you want to call it that, is that I take into account effectiveness. So regardless of how they play, how effective they are in that style. So I may not like the way they play, but if they score goals and do the things they need to win games, well, I do take that into account. So the third thing is that I look for what I like, right? So I take that into account, what I like, what I think soccer and how it should be played, and so that weighs in on it. There's no sort of secret formula. I just go through, and based on what I think, I try to do some mental comparisons between teams who haven't played each other, and that's how I go through the ranking. And then lastly, like I said, this is just me. So I part of the reason why I watch a lot of games is I want to make sure that I'm not missing anything. So the exercise here in the next couple of weeks is I think I'm going to be looking at, sort of the top 30 to 50 teams in the country to see if I'm not missing anything, because there's some really great soccer being played, and I just want to make sure that I'm duly noting them. So those are the quick, fast rules, if you want to call them that. They can change on a dime, but I try to be relatively consistent. Oh, lastly, the one thing I will say is I don't just sort of take a snapshot of the records. So you could be 3-0, 4-0, 5-0, 6-0. That doesn't do anything for me. I want to know who you're playing against. I want to obviously watch you, but I also want to look at what I call the totality of your work. So, hey, where were you last year? Where sort of what was your season like? And is this just an up year, right? Or an up moment? Because lots of times what I'm trying to prevent is doing what a lot of the other polls end up doing, which is they rank somebody, hey, you're 5-0, you're 15th in the country. And then 2 weeks later, they're off of it because they had a 4-game losing streak or something like that, right? I try to avoid that and really try to hone in on the teams that I think they're going to have permanence, and despite some hiccups, are still top 25 material. So that was a little bit long-winded. So with that, let's just jump right into the top 25. Down 2 spots to number 25 at 2-2-1. The Eves of Williams College. They lost to Amherst and followed up by a win at Clark. The loss to Amherst was at home, and Amherst, as you will see later, is very, very good. So not rated this time last week at 4-1. Emory. They lost to Christopher Newport 1-0, but then they turned around and beat Guilford. So, and losing to Christopher Newport is another one where it's like, okay, I can accept that. Here's a team up 2 spots from last week, 2-0-3, NYU. They beat Stevens, and then they timed Farmingdale, which I don't necessarily understand, but I expect this team to be around for the duration of the year. I think it's all a matter of just sort of getting prepped for the UAA, and then we'll see how things shake out. So at 22, Spartans of Case Western at 3-0-2. Same spot as they were last week. They beat BW, then tied Otterbein. I think they have a couple games where they should win. And then they'll jump into the UAA with some momentum, which I think anyone in the UAA is gonna need. NYU as well. So at 21, down a spot, 4-0-1 Cardinals of Otterbein. They had a solid win against Adrian, and then followed that up with a tie against Case. I think they can play, and I think they're going to be a contender in the OAC. Without a doubt. At number 20, defending national champions, down 6 spots at 2-0-3 Cal Lutheran. I think they had a couple disappointing ties against Willamette, whatever, and Claremont Mudd Scripps. And again, sort of my expectation for them is to be better. So. At 19, team that I think has potential now. They just need to deliver on it. Up 2 spots, 3-1-1 McDaniel, the Green Terror. They beat Salisbury, then lost to Messiah away. And I think the next couple of weeks they need to sweep, quite honestly, if they're serious as I think they are. Or they're as serious as I am thinking they are. So up a spot at 3-0-1 NESCAC Middlebury. They had a good win against Trinity before they tied MIT at home, and I think MIT that is a good result because MIT can play. Equally, I think they can play. They face Amherst on the 21st, which I think is really going to make really going to see how things shake out, NESCAC-wise, but also the top 25. At 17, 2-1-2, Johns Hopkins, down 2 spots. They had a tie at Salisbury midweek. They do have a game against very good TCNJ this week at Hopkins, so may hold my powder dry on this one a little bit. The biggest drop of the season so far, down 11 spots at 1-1-2, the Hawks of the University of Hartford. They tied Clarkson and then lost to Colby 3-1. I think they looked outmatched, and they don't look like the team that they were last year. And I don't know if something's going on or graduation, all that sort of thing. And again, this is only their second year in Division III, so I don't know if this is reverting to mean, that sort of thing. I don't know enough, but yeah. Up 3 spots to 15, 4-1 the Generals of Washington and Lee. They beat Berry and York. They don't play again until the 28th, so in 2 weeks. So you might see these folks bounce around a little bit in the top 25 next week, just because they're not playing. But is a team worthy to keep an eye on in the ODAC, definitely too. So at 14, both the men and women are just outstanding this year. 3-0-1, the Profs of Rowan University tied Swarthmore away, and then they followed it up with a really solid win against Penn State Berks. And I'm still liking the game that they're bringing, so I really think this team's got legs. So up 4 spots to 13, undefeatable at 5-0. Loras College, they can keep winning. They have yet to concede a goal. They have Lawrence and Carroll before they take on a very good Carroll Carleton team. Carleton. So same spot as last week. 4-0-1. MIT. They beat Brandeis at home and then tied Middlebury away. They've been chalking up some really good results against the top 50 teams that they've been facing. So really, this is a team that can play. So keep an eye on them. Down 3 spots, to 1-1-3. Messiah in 11th. They lost to William Smith on the road. They traveled to Penn State Berks on Wednesday, and then they really have a big-time challenge against Misericordia on the road. I think they just need to win. So, Messiah, the men's team's struggling. The women's team can't chalk up the wins that I think that they should have, but so we'll see. At number 10, 4-0-1. They are up one spot. Is the University of Paywall, and if you know me, University of Paywall is the University of Rochester. They have wins against Buffalo State and St. John Fisher, so they keep rolling along. And yes, they still have me banned on Exeter. Me, nice guy, simple coach. Come on, Jackie. Who blocks Jackie? So, okay. And at number 9, 2-0-3, Carnegie Mellon, down 2 spots. I am not sure what to make of the midweek tie against Point Park. Just really, I don't understand it. And then they tied, which I thought was a really tight game, against Cortland on Sunday. So 2-0-3. I think they need to put some more W's up and sort of start getting themselves more noticed. I think that's sort of what's happening right now. So a little bit of a trap weekend, a little funky weekend right now. It's pre-conference, but and this is where you start to feel the knocks and your legs are starting to get a little heavy. So we'll see. Anyhow. At number 8, undefeatable from the frozen tundra, Wisconsin La Crosse. They had a 4-1 win against the Milwaukee School of Engineering and a 2-1 win against Dubuque. And I think this team can keep going. They definitely have the attack that they need. They really can score goals. So. At number 7, 2-1, Tufts University, up 2 spots from last week. They had a big win against Colby on Saturday, and then they just took the stuffing out of Connecticut College on Sunday in a 6-0 rout. So I think this team, again, is just continuing sort of where they were at the end of last season and when they fell in the semis. So. Also, next up, undefeatable in 6th at 7-0, Misericordia, up 7 spots. I think the most impressive thing is that obviously they continue to win, but they've only conceded one goal, and that was in the 2-1 win against Moravian. They do have big games against Cortland and Messiah coming up this week, so will be interesting to see. Again, relative ranking and see how they hold up. So now on to the top 5. Undefeatable. Keep saying this team might be back. Still waiting. Still judging. 5-0. The College of New Jersey. Racking up some really solid wins. Most recently at home against Hood. They have a big game in Baltimore against Johns Hopkins on Wednesday for both teams, I think. So that'll be a real cracker of a game to check out. So at 4, team I love, same spot as last week, 4-0-1 Pomona Pitzer. They beat the Banana Slugs of UC Santa Cruz. And then they beat St. Catherine. They have scored 11 goals and conceded only 1. I mean, that's pretty darn good. So, undefeatable, another one. Amherst 4-0. They beat William Smith, and then they beat Williams. Both games were away. They do have 5. Their next 5 games is pretty brutal, including trips to Bates and Colby in one weekend. So I think that's really going to be a tough one. At number 2, I think they're playing really, really well. 4-0-1. Coach Gunderson really has the team rolling. Christopher Newport University. They beat Emory. They do have a game on Friday against Trinity, Texas. I think it's at home. I don't think they're traveling. So should be one to watch. Which leaves us to number 1. Number 1. No change from last week. Wash U, the Bears of Wash U at 6-0, undefeatable, keep rolling along. In those 6 games, they have scored 25 goals and only conceded 3. And I get a sense, and why I'm so confident of this pick. They're on a mission. They lost in the finals to Cal Lutheran last year on a bomb of a goal. But I think they're on a mission. This team reminds me of Hopkins from 2 years ago, where they just steamrolled through the season and went into the tournament with full of confidence and playing great soccer. And I think WashU reminds me of that team. So in their own right? So that's it. WashU at number 1. Okay, so that covers it. I hope you enjoyed this episode and the polls. Listen, again, I just go back to these are my picks. Agree, disagree, by all means, down below. Shoot me a DM or email, whatever you'd like, however you'd like to. Love the debate. Not infallible. So if you have a different opinion, love to hear it. Love to hear it. So, I also, if I'm missing somebody, if you think I'm missing somebody, by all means, let me know. Again, just remember my rules that I mentioned earlier. Maybe I just haven't watched, or I haven't watched enough, and I'm not getting something. So by all means, point me in a direction and I will take a look. That's what I'm supposed to do. So on that note, I want to thank you again. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for watching. If you like this, there's plenty more where this comes from. Subscribe, do all that stuff. Really appreciate the support. And I hope to see you all. I'll see you all in the next week or so. You'll see some more stuff coming out. Maybe even an episode of Around D3, where I just talk about some of the things I'm noticing. But all right. Hope you have a great day, and we will talk soon.